All right, I think we have everybody, or we have a quorum at least. Let's call the meeting to order. Is there anybody who wishes to engage in public participation? Hearing none.
Be thankful.
Yes. Anthony, are you, I think you're on.
Yeah, I'm on, Joe. Can you hear me?
All right, you want to go through the Greenwood school project? Give us an update in the invoices.
Yes, absolutely. So it'll be pretty much a short update. At this point, I was talking to the architect, Jason Wagner from Gale Associates today. The punch list wise, punch list is closed out for Gale's items in Greenwood, I should say, Greenwood Industries. So at this point now, Greenwood, the remaining document that Greenwood owns Gale's full closeout package per the specifications. But they have completed all the punch list, verified, signed, and Gale has signed off on that point. That includes the asbestos submittal, which was the last item, which was signed off, I believe, on Tuesday. So construction-wise, punch list is done. At this point, we're in the closeout stage of the project. We received the revised project funding agreement, total project budget with MSBA last Wednesday. We have about a week to respond if we find any errors. Did a cursory review of it earlier today. I don't see any real major hiccups. We had good bid results, as everyone knows. So essentially what happened with that is the MSBA also participates in those bid results saving. So the grant from the MSBA did go down and went down essentially proportionally what the bid amount came down. So percentage wise, the town's still really receiving the same grant from the MSBA. It's just if the town results in project bid savings, so does the MSBA. They share in the savings. So that's kind of the major items. And then we have the 3 invoices tonight for approval. You know, we'll still have these little small invoices trickle in as we go throughout the closeout process over the next couple of months.
And when do you expect the closeout to be done and to release retainage?
So retainage release, separate item. We still have to do the infrared scan with the commissioning agent through the MSBA. That's going to happen in the spring. So full retainage release won't happen until that scan happens and everything's okay. So if something comes up on that scan, essentially Greenwood has to be present and then they have to fix any deficiencies found. You know, it might be a pocket of insulation that they have to rip up and see if it's wet. And if it's not, so be it. But we're going to hold some money for that in retainage for full release. And that won't happen until the spring is when we're going to do this scan.
When you say the spring, are we talking March, May?
April, probably.
And you're waiting for that so that there's no snow on the roof, or?
Pretty much. The commissioning agent came out and said they'd prefer to do it in the spring with the temperature now just too cold. So they were targeting spring. I should touch base. I'll touch base with Russell from BEA. He's the commission agent through the MSBA.
Yeah, I'm just curious that, you know, what's the temp? Is it aggregate temperature or temperature of the day? I mean, we've had 50-degree days. We've had 40-degree days.
Chip, what I'll do is I'll actually follow up with him and see if we have inclement method, if we can get something on the books regardless.
Okay, that'd be great.
My experience is
like it's going to dangle out there forever.
Yeah.
My experience with infrared, Chip, was that we would do it on like a warmer night. So you get the temperature difference of the cold water underneath with the warm ambient temperature outside. But
okay.
I don't know. We rely on the scanners to tell us when they want to do it, I guess. Well, I got the floor. Sarnafil warranty. Has anyone seen it or heard of it?
That's going to be as part of the closeout package. So now that the punch list is complete, we're just waiting for that letter from Sarnafil. So it should be imminent. I emailed Greenwood earlier in the week. He said he was chasing it down.
And we know Sarnafil inspected the roof, the punch list items.
Yeah, they have to. They have to sign off on it. They have to issue a report with their own items, acknowledging that Greenwood closed them out correctly.
Yeah, it just hesitant releasing too much money without knowing that a warranty is forthcoming.
For sure.
Or until we have that warranty.
Yeah.
Anthony, when do we expect to get the warranty?
Any day now. I touched base with Mark. I'll pull up the email real quick.
Do we want to, when we do the Greenwood billing, the invoice, you want to make it conditional upon getting the warranty?
Sure. We still have 60 grand left for them to bill technically. So they still have a lot of money hanging out there that they need.
Yeah, I think paying them, Joe, the 42 at 24.
All right.
And keeping the 42 in retainage would be, they're going to want that. Just no retainage gets released until.
Exactly.
All right.
Quick question, the application for payments through November 30th, are we expecting, how many more applications are we expecting? One through December and one more, or do you think just one more to encompass from November 30th on?
We could probably just do one more from November or December 1st onward. Like I said, it was minimal work for Greenwood, so at this point, they're just gonna try and close out or bill 100% the remaining open line items and go from there and retainage release. But I already kind of reiterated, we're holding retainage for the infrared scan, and then we'll talk about it with him on the warranty.
Okay, so you're not sitting on a draft 1231 application,
No,
they haven't submitted, yeah,
This is the
okay,
latest one. Yeah, this is the latest one.
okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions regarding Greenwood?
You want to pay the bills?
Yeah, well, let's do it.
All right, I move that we approve the Greenwood Industries bill, application number 5, for the sum of $24,016.37.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion?
Just Joe, just a quick note.
Yep.
It's $18 in there, not 16. Just for accuracy. $24,018 and I believe 7 cents.
My printer's not that good.
37 cents.
$24,018.37.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay,
I'm gonna blame the printer. It might be my eyes, though.
all right. And Chip,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Jason,
Yep.
Tom? Tom? Tom was on.
He's on mute.
Is he on mute? Tom?
He says yes,
He
thumbs
said-
up.
Thumbs up.
Tim?
Yes.
All right. Now I'm looking through the list.
Joe, who was the first and second there? Sorry.
Jason,
I
seconded,
seconded.
Okay.
Chip moved
Chip
it.
called it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
I'll say yes, it's unanimous. I didn't miss anybody, did I? I don't see Jerry on here, so.
I move that we approve Gail's invoice number 2011242 for the sum of $933.71.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. Chip,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Jason,
Yep.
Tim,
Yes.
Tom? And Tom?
Tom's
He
good.
said yes.
Thumbs up, okay. I don't have, all right. And
and I move that we approve PMA Consultants invoice number 04372.00-14 for the sum of $1,745.
I'll second.
any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Jason,
Yep.
Tom, thumbs up,
Yep.
and Tim.
Yes.
All right. That's it for the green one then, right? Anthony, anything else?
That's it for me. Like I said, now that we have the revised PFA from the MSBA, we'll start the closeout process with them. So I'll try to send out an update email to the committee on the next couple of months, what to expect.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Anthony.
thank you, Anthony.
Thanks.
Next item is the DPW facility study. Joe Conway.
Hey, Joe. How's it
Hi,
going?
Joe. How are you?
Not too bad. So with me tonight from Weston and Sampson, I have Jamie Fair. He's going to be our lead point of contact with the feasibility study.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Jamie.
Hi, how you doing, Jamie? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Formed him. Him and I have been in contact quite a few times. He's pretty familiar with the project. So I don't have a lot that I have to speak to him directly about, so I invited him here to kind of put a face to the name and introduce him to the board. And I don't know, Joe, if maybe you need to go over some logistics on, how things are going to operate as we move forwards and whatnot, but I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Jamie, the first thing is I'm gonna need a contract.
Okay, all right. We can do that.
All right.
We'll put one together, no problem.
Put
Yep.
one together, send it to me, and then I send it to town council so that he reviews it and make sure it's okay for me to sign. And
Okay.
then the committee will get an approval of it at our next meeting.
Okay,
I don't anticipate a problem, but we have to go through that process.
no, of course, yep, yep,
All right.
we'll get that out right away. Yep.
And the approval of all the bills and your report comes to the permanent building committee. You have, however, an advisory committee that's been created for the facilities, for the DPW facility. You could be working with them as to the various studies and whatever you need to do. So essentially, that's the logistics. We generally meet once a month, if not more sometimes, at least once a month. And we're going to anticipate some progress reports as we go along. All right.
Okay, yep, that sounds good,
Okay.
no problem, yep.
Do you have any questions of us or?
No, I think I'm good right now. We'll put the contract together. Like Joe mentioned, we've been talking already about kind of getting things up and running, and we're wrapping up the earlier study with the safety and repairs, the more imminent issues at the DPW. And so we're at a good point to start into this phase of the study, and looking forward to it, and certainly appreciate the town selecting us, and very much look forward to working with you folks.
Does anybody have any questions for Jamie? Okay,
Good.
I hear somebody.
Nope, I said, I think we're good.
All right.
Who, remind me who is in the working group from our group?
Created any group yet?
Well, no, there's a working group, right? Already created, Joe, correct?
I don't know if we created one yet, Chip. Did we?
No, Joe does, because
I have a subcommittee that's myself, the town engineer, our building manager, our operations manager.
Oh, okay.
Rick Stinson is serving as a resident. Joe Harrington is the other resident. And then the last meeting that we had to cancel because we were in the middle of a snowstorm. But before that, I just sent the meeting to Joe. I don't know if we appointed anybody officially from this board to be part of that.
we need to.
Correct. Do I have any volunteers? Not everybody at once.
I mean, I'll certainly
I will.
be.
Yeah, I'm
John?
happy to. I'm happy to do it as well. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll join in.
Tim, all right. Tim, John, and Chip. You've been appointed as liaison to the advisory committee in the working group. So Joe, when you have your meetings, contact me and I'll, get their email addresses and everything, just set those meetings up, okay?
Yep. Yeah. Now that we have our marching orders, I'm going to send a message out to the group to get another meeting on paper and kind of get rolling with that. So I should be in
Right.
communication by the end of the day tomorrow.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you.
All right, well, that's the DPW. Jamie, nice to meet you. We look forward to working with you.
Nice to meet you also. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Too.
Take care.
Joe, you keep freezing for some reason.
Me?
Yeah,
Oh.
Joe.
mid-sentence, just FYI.
well,
Joe, it's Anthony again. We forgot to vote on the 12-3 meeting minutes for the Greenwood project. That's one thing we forgot.
Oop.
Oh,
Oh.
they're right here too.
Do I hear a
I
motion?
move that we approve the 12-3 minutes as written
I'll
for the
second.
BBC
Yep.
on Greenwood roof.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion? See no discussion. Does anybody object? Being no objections, minutes are approved.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Anthony, and send them to Sherry.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. All right, the next item is the high school. Just a brief update. The RFS that has to be completed, that goes to the MSBA to start the process to retain an OPM, is due on February 11th. Bob Shirley has done part of it. I have requested the information from Steve and Doug Lyons as to who will complete the rest, and I have not heard yet, but I assume we'll be hearing soon, and that has to be completed by February 11th, and that's what to start that process. So we really don't have any action until that process is done and submitted to the MSBA.
Hey Joe, I'm on this call. Doug forwarded me your email. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. He's been in a lot of meetings. I just got back today. I had coming off of being COVID positive.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good time.
Join the club.
yeah.
So like you said, I did most of the SOI I put on there, issues we've had with the high school for the RFS. But a lot of the things that we need to look at, and I don't know if it's this committee or who, but a lot of it is project objectives, like owner designation of importance for relative criteria when we're looking for an OPM and designer, dates and context for deadlines, and in who is, like, if there's when the bids come in, who they're going to go to,
Right.
the inquirers, and then kind of the contract for the OPM services. So those are kind of some of the things that need to be discussed and put into this. So I don't know if that's this group or
Not this group. We don't, that's, the school.
No,
department.
we are the group that selects the OPM.
So I guess, so you wouldn't want to be putting the criteria out on what you're selecting against, I guess.
All that criteria is laid out in the MSBA form.
Well, that's their
in
general.
that template, and there's a whole list of them.
Yeah,
It'll have to be, some of this work will have to be done in conjunction with the school department and Steve, and I think makes the most sense to be in conjunction with also the rep. I can't remember her name now. To go through it with her. I think that makes a lot of sense. But it's not something that we do independently.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll touch base with Doug and talk to Steve then, because I just didn't know the criteria. I know the criteria is generic. I didn't know if you guys put any specific verbiage in that you wanted to hold people against when looking for somebody.
It's pretty generic, pretty general. I think it looked good when I looked at it. So
Yeah, Joe, you and I can talk. There might be some things we want to add.
but it's pretty standard. But the thing I looked at.
All right, I'll touch base with Steve and Doug either tomorrow or early next week, and if you guys have anything, Chip or Joe, just let me know.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Right. Any other questions?
See it before it gets submitted.
Oh yeah. We're going to do that, but we're not going to be the one drafting it. That's
Correct.
that's not our job. Any other questions regarding the high school, that portion of it?
Did the Galvin go through the same process? Could be a good resource
Just
to
a
look
little,
at.
that was a little different.
It was different.
Okay.
The process for OPM selection now, Galvin was 7 years ago now when we selected the OPM. Probably, right, Joe? 6 or 7, and
Yeah, I think
they've
More than 7.
they've redone what they're looking for in their forms and all that stuff. So it's a little different, but we can check with people we know and make sure there's no caveats we need to add.
All right. Anybody else? All right. The next is the Public Safety Building. And I see if I can get Shane.
Yep, I'm here.
Ah, there you are. Let me get you as a co-host because you have, I assume,
Yeah. Presentation.
things you want to show. All right, I think I've made it, but I'm not sure.
Yep.
All right,
Everybody.
all right, Shane.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. I think most of you saw the presentation or the preview, so I'll just run through that quickly and see what we've done since we met last, and gives a preview of what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks to the next month. So tonight's agenda, we just have a couple of administrative actions. We have the meeting minutes and a couple of invoices. I'll go through the progress report. We have a couple of schedule updates, the design schedule, and also the construction manager. We'll look at the budget, and then some other business and discussion that we can do at the end of the meeting. So the first thing tonight is the approval of the meeting minutes. You should all have gotten a copy of that yesterday. So if you have a chance to review that, or if you have any comments, please let us know.
No. I move that we approve the December 17th minutes as written.
Jason, do you want to second it?
Yeah, I'll second it. Shane knows he needs to update my name because he spelled it wrong, but that's okay.
Couple of misspellings, yeah. There are those.
Well,
Second,
it could be worse, Jason. We could have other things in there called, you know.
Absolutely.
All right, with that amendment, is there any other discussion regarding the minutes? Seeing none, is there anybody objecting to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes are approved unanimously. Okay, Shane.
thank you. Second thing under the administrative actions is the invoices. There's two invoices this month, or for the month of December. One is from Liaison for $5,000 for the OPM services during that month, and the other one is for HKT Architects for $4,252.52. The invoices were attached to the package you got yesterday, so I'm happy to review those or answer any questions.
Chip,
I move that we approve the left field invoice number 2 for OPM services for the sum of $5,000.
I'll second that.
any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Janine? Janine? All right, I don't
Yes.
see her. Oh, thank you, Janine. Jason?
Yes. Am I
Tom?
back in?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Hey, there you go,
Yeah.
Tom. Good to hear you. And Tim?
Yes.
The second invoice was for HKT Architects, which we reviewed and we recommend approval.
Okay, I move that we approve HKT invoice number 022023.1 for the sum of $4,252.50.
I will second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Janine? Janine? Jason?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, there's Janine.
Thanks,
Got a
Janine.
little delay there. That's good. I like it.
Yeah, that was a
Yes.
yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And I approve it as well. Unanimous. All right, Shane.
Right, thank you. The next thing, just the progress update. So we have been working behind the scenes on a number of things. Two of the big things that happened since we met last. The survey crew started work on January 4th. They spent a couple of days outside the building surveying the exterior of the building, and then they moved inside the building. So they've been inside the building, I think, for 4 or 5 days now. I spoke to the head of the survey crew yesterday, and they were expecting to finish up today. I'm not sure if they did or not, but they didn't finish today. They expect to be finished by the end of the week. with that, they'll put together what they call a point cloud, and that will allow Janet and her team to start the model, which I think Janet will speak about shortly. And then the second big thing we did since we met last was the geotech borings. We had a crew out there for 2 days. They did some borings in front of the police station, at the back of the building, at the Sallyport area, and then the second day they were out there, they jumped into the front and did the couple of borings in front of the fire station site. So they're working on the report. We should have that in the next week or so. I understand that there was no issues discovered, but we will get the full report in the next week or so. And I just wanted to thank the police chief, deputy chief, and the fire chief for their help with that, with cordoning off the areas so that those guys could get their equipment in there and do that work. The other big milestone.
Before you jump forward, Shane, if I can just ask the chiefs, how has the survey been going inside? Has it disrupted things terribly, or has it been pretty not so bad?
Chip, Steve Score here. No, it's actually been really good. Thanks to the DPW for their help. They've had somebody from buildings escort the scanners throughout the building.
Okay.
So they didn't really disrupt myself or the deputy chief. They're really quick. They go in the room. They may be in any particular room for anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. So it really hasn't been an inconvenience at all.
Good.
Good to hear.
Fire hasn't had any problems either. They've been a pleasure to deal with.
Super.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, chief.
Let's hope it's the same way through construction.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes a room, Shane. You
That'll be
heard
it. That'll be it. 10 to 15 minutes. We'll hold them to that. Don't worry.
Yeah. And just the second big thing, then, it was a milestone. We did submit that application to the Inspector General's office around the middle of December. It can take up to 6 weeks to get that back, but they were able to turn around pretty quickly. So on January 4th, we got a letter notification from the Inspector General's office to tell us that they had approved the construction manager risk method for construction, which means we can now proceed with that process and award a contract when the time comes to a construction manager. So that was a pretty good milestone, a pretty big milestone that we're way ahead of schedule on that.
Yeah, I received a call from them, Shane, before they sent out the letter.
Yeah.
And I thought you guys did a great work putting that together because they had no issues whatsoever. She told me, the formal letter was coming. They had no problem at all. So good work.
Yep, thank you.
Joe, did she say anything to you about the size of the project?
No.
Was
Why?
it Mary Colasar that you spoke to?
Oh, sorry, Lynn, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Is there a problem with the size? She had no problem at all.
No, I just wondered if they were questioning the size and use of a CM, that's all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The next one then, just wanted to go over the design schedule again. This is what we reviewed at the last meeting. Right now we're in the feasibility schematic phase. So Jan and her team will take that information from the surveyors. Hopefully they'll get in next week or so, start to do their modeling and really get into the design of the building and start putting together some drawings that we can start reviewing with the working group and report up to the full committee in the next few weeks.
So Shane, you mentioned that I've noticed a couple of the last week's meetings for the working group have been canceled. Is that because there's no discussion that needs to happen or no follow-up, or where do we stand with that?
Well, really now we're waiting for the survey to finish so Janet and her folks can put to pen to paper, if you like. And they really haven't been able to while we're waiting for those guys. So it's good that they'll wrap up this week. And then we can get going. And I'll review it at the end of the meeting tonight, Chip. I've put together sort of a schedule with topics that we'll review at those working group meetings. So I think in the next couple of weeks, we'll really start getting into it.
Great.
So just, to follow through from schematic, we're looking to send the schematic documents to the estimators in early April, do that estimate, and that's really when we'll test our project budget, the construction budget, and we'll also start to look at some of those other soft costs and make sure that we're we're tracking on budget. So really, it's a critical phase, and we're working through it. And by the end of April, we'll have a hard look at the budget and the final construction numbers based on those estimates. After that, we'll roll into construction documents, design development, construction documents, and then to bidding. So we'll just track that and make sure we're following that schedule at each building committee meeting.
Okay. And where in all of this do you think going out for CM at risk falls?
That's the next slide. I'll jump forward to that. So I put together a CM at risk selection schedule here. So this is part of the process. We looked at it a little bit at the last meeting. And going through it, our application was submitted and is complete, as you can see. So we're ahead of schedule on that with the OIG office. I'd like, if I can tonight, get permission to submit an ad to the Central Register next week. That will start the process going with getting an RFQ or a request for qualifications out to interested bidders. If we can submit that next week, that would appear in the Central Register, which is really the state publication that everybody goes to for these state procurement things. And that would get that in the Central Register on January 27th. We also advertise in the local newspaper. Not sure that anybody looks for procurement opportunities in the papers, but it's required by the Mass General laws. And then Combis is the state's online procurement website. We'll also list it on that. So we expect to do that by the 27th. With that being published, we'll issue the RFQ to any firms that want copies of it. That will start the clock ticking for them to put together their qualifications, which is the first phase that we talked about. We will look for them to submit their qualifications 2 weeks later on February 10th. We'll review those. It'll take a couple of weeks to review those. We'll decide which firms are actually qualified, which firms we want to move on to the second phase, which is the proposal phase that we talked about. The proposal phase is only open to contractors who we deem qualified. We'll send out a request for qualification or request for proposals to those guys. It's a bit more detailed. We'll look for some information specific to our project, how they'll run our project, how they'll schedule our project, how they'll do the phasing and sequencing, among other stuff. So we've got a couple of weeks to do that. Again, we'll review those. At that point, we have an opportunity to actually really bring them in and interview them, which I think is one of the big advantages of this CM process. We actually get to meet the team that'll work on the project. And after those interviews, then we'll go ahead and we'll rank the CM firms, and we'll start negotiating with the preferred CM firm. So I've outlined it here. Really, the milestones are to get that RFQ out on January 27th, shortlist by February 23rd, get the proposals back in on March 17th, and then hopefully by the end of March, I'm looking at a possible building committee meeting on March 25th, where we'll be able to come to the building committee with a recommendation to start negotiating with the CM at risk firm.
So Shane, why do you think, what goes into the qualification period that you need 2 weeks from February 11th to February 23rd to decide who we want to go forward with? What happens during that period that you need 2 weeks?
So we can probably shorten that, depending on, we still need to pick a selection committee, decide how many folks will be on that. But certainly it will take a couple of days to distribute the RFQs, and that's why I actually highlight format here, because I'd like to talk about the format we're going to get them in. We'll have to meet as a selection committee, decide who we want to pre-qualify and who may not be qualified to move forward on this, and then we'll go to the building committee on the 23rd. So we may be able to tighten that up a bit, Chip.
Okay.
Get those back.
Regarding.
Joe, you cut out.
Can you hear me?
Now.
Yep.
Regarding that qualification committee, it's going to be the entire committee, just like we did the OPM.
Okay.
Yeah. But Shane, you'll find out, and I know that sounds a little ominous now because you haven't worked with us a whole lot yet, everybody turns everything around within a day or two. And what
Okay.
depending on what the format is, if you say you want us to rank it all in numbers or however you want us to do it,
Right.
if you say I need them back by Friday night, everybody will get them back to you.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay, yeah, I've done with full committees before. Yeah, it's not a problem. We'll do a lot of the lifting too. And, we have standard forms, evaluation forms that we'll send out and it is pretty straightforward. It's all set out in the RFQ, the criteria and the evaluation. So I'll get that out well before the February 10th for everybody to look at. In terms of the format, what I meant there was, in times past, we've always gotten hard copies of these qualifications. They're usually between 20 and 30 pages per firm. With COVID now and issues with distributing the packages, we've been getting them electronically. But I wanted to just throw that out there and see what folks want and how their preferred format would be, whether you want them electronically or in hard copy.
Well, what do people think?
Well, I'm still old school. I love having something in front of me to flip through and read, and me going through 20 or 30 pages on my computer, I'm not good at it. So I don't know if we can do half and half. I mean, I'm certainly in favor of saving trees, and I know everybody's going electronically for 90% of the time, but I'm just too old to read thousands of pages on the computer. That's me.
And I'm older than he is, so I need that too.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. Whatever you guys decide to do is fine for me.
Well, we can do both.
I think, well, we'll just get paper copies for everybody. I think if they're making 6 copies, it's just as easy for them to make 10 or 12 copies. So we'll get a hard copy for everybody. We also ask for a copy on disk, so I can certainly upload it as well, so everybody has an electronic copy if that's quicker to look at.
That'll work then.
Yeah.
Good.
So just to confirm the number there, I've got Joe, Tim, Chip, Jerry, Jason, Janine, John, and Tom, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And Mark.
7, 8.
And Wayne.
And then Mark, Phil, and Wayne as well.
Yep.
And then Chief.
The 2 chiefs.
The 2 chiefs.
Count us in, will you?
Mike Sullivan.
We did.
So
It's
so
the
that-
whole committee, whether you're voting or associate, everyone's gonna be involved.
so I got 14 copies, and then we'll get a copy, and also Janet and her team. So I'll
Okay.
put 16 hard copies in there. That's fine.
Good.
One other question I had on the RFQ, and this is for you, Chief Scory. Will you require Corey checks, do you think? Should we put that in there?
I think we probably should. They'll be in the building, so yes.
Okay, so we require Corey checks. And then
So Chief, is it Corey and Sori or just Corey?
Should be just Corey.
Okay.
and then Joe, one other question I had, I may talk to town council on this, is MBE, WBE goals. We're not required to, because we're not getting state funding here. So I'm not sure if typically when you're not getting state funding, whether you've included those or not.
We're not getting state funding, so I don't see what the need
No,
is.
I think the comment is that I think the way it was, and the way it's been worded in the past when we've done it, has been that, we are open to everybody, and we ask that those apply, but not,
I would agree. I mean, typically where we don't need to do it, we don't make it a requirement, but yeah.
Right, it's a general statement that please apply, but it's not a requirement.
Okay.
Do you do it as best faith efforts? Chip?
Excuse me?
Do you do it as best faith efforts, but not a requirement to meet the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you for that wording, Jerry. I was fumbling with it.
Yeah, but we don't need to get into all the MBE, legal language. We can put a general statement in there, but not follow the state.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think if you make it as best faith efforts, at least it means that you're asking for it.
Absolutely, yeah. So, okay. So any other questions on the OPM?
Jane, do you need a motion from the committee to put the ad in?
It's up to you. I can just go ahead and do it if it's your desire, or you can vote on it, Joe. It's up to you as chair.
Chip, if you're talking, you're muted.
I had background noise. I said, I don't think we need to vote to approve that because it's part of their contract and we approved their contract.
Okay.
Yep.
Then just put it in.
The note, the minute should show that we talked about it and approved it going in.
And then I did include the RFQ with the packages. I know it's not coming up here. So if anybody has any questions, please email me, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions on that.
Is 2 weeks response time for prospective contractors? Is that normal? It just seems short.
I think it should be enough time. I mean, these guys do these all the time. I think perhaps depending on how quick we can turn around the RFQ, we may give them a little more time on the RFP, because that's more project specific.
Yeah, it's not like they're putting a bid price together now. It's just clause. Okay.
Let's try and get this back. Okay, am I back? Can everybody see that?
It's a blank page, Shane.
Blank page. It's one of my better pages. Yes.
Let me try it again. Is that up?
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. Okay. So we'll go ahead with that ad, and I'll keep everybody up to date on where we are with that. Next thing is the project budget. There's really been no changes since we reviewed that last. I don't know if you want to go through that in any detail.
No, that's okay.
This is the same. We're good.
Just a moment. And then just for other business and discussion. So I included just a meeting schedule here. So I've tried to put together a list of the meetings that we're going to have over the next in the next couple of months, and certainly to get us through the schematic phase. We've had a couple already tonight. We're here at the building committee meeting where we're doing a design update and a work plan review. In orange, you can see those working group meetings. So
I'm still seeing the budget slide. I don't know about you guys.
We're still on the budget.
Give me a sec.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. So these meetings in blue are the building committee meetings, in orange are the working group meetings, and there's some pre-qual CMR meetings in there also. So beginning next week with the advisory working group, I'd like to start looking at the preliminary phasing and logistics plan. That's going to be a real high level one. I just want to go over it with the chiefs, and that's more so for the CM process. I want to look at what might be negotiable, what might not be negotiable, and if there's anything we need to write into the construction manager's RFP before they submit, we should get that in there to make sure that they know exactly what they can and what they cannot do at the proposal phase. The next advisory working group meeting then on February 20th or February 3rd, I'd like to start looking at the floor plans and the extent of the work limits. I know on the study, there were some colored floor plans in there. They don't exactly show the extent of where the work is happening. For example, the community meeting room was shaded in color, and all the stair areas were shaded in color. I'm not sure we're doing any work there, so I just want to go through the exact extent of the work limits and where we're actually going to be working within the building and what's not going to be part of the scope of the work for this. Then also interior finishes, that will be pretty simple. Hey, you know, in offices, we're going to have carpet, in hallways, we're going to have vinyl. In the evidence room, it might be, you know, sealed concrete or an epoxy floor finish. So again, just a high level of what the finish is, not the particular product, but just what the product is. Same with ceilings. Are they going to be hard ceilings? Or are they going to be acoustic, drop-in 2x2 tiles, that kind of thing. We'd like to look at the MEP and the building systems before we finalize the schematic design. So that'll be another meeting we'll have. And then in early March, we'll start to look at the site, the civil and the landscaping. There won't be much in that, but we'll take a look at that. So we include that scope in the schematic. Then also want to look at the built-in furniture versus the FF&E, the furniture, fixtures and equipment. Make sure we're all on the same page as to what's built-in furniture part of the construction contract and what might be loose furniture part of our furniture budget. And then finally, before we go to the estimators at the end of schematic, we'll take a look at the building envelope again, make sure we're all clear on the scope of the envelope. Are we replacing existing windows? Are we not replacing existing windows? And also look at the building IT and the security as well. So that's sort of our roadmap, if you like, for schematic. Joe, I've put a building committee meeting every other week in here.
Right.
I'm not sure if we'll need to report out on the public safety every other week, but we can work with that.
Yeah, we'll work with that.
I'm not sure, you know, we need to meet just to meet.
Shane,
I have plugged in.
My only question on your working groups is should the FF&E stuff get moved up a little bit, particularly when I think about dispatch, or not maybe the whole conversation, but some specific conversations to make sure we know lead times and such on some of the bigger stuff. And maybe you've got it fine and you're comfortable with that, but
I think we'll be okay to start at early March, Chip.
Okay.
And then, you know, we have until the end of April before we finalize that construction estimate.
Okay.
And we need to make sure everything fits within our overall budget. So I think, you know, if we look at it early March, that gives us about 8 weeks to determine exactly what's what. So I think that should be fine.
I just want to add one thing. I had talked to Shane about the schedule, and you know, I have to get all these people working, and a lot of it is dependent on when the model comes in. That's the Revit model, and you know, they're working on it. They're going to try to produce interim models for us, so hopefully everybody will be able to use that. So I just want to caution everybody that there's a little preliminary you know, flavor to the schedule until we get the models. So I'm going to, you know, people, I'm going to have them working, you know, everybody's set to go, but starting with the code people and maybe the MEP at FP people. But, you know, the other people will need the model to actually do drawings. Just wanted to caution everyone on that. Okay.
So that, yeah, that will get us to our schematic estimate set at the beginning of April. And then as we move into design development and into our construction documents, I'll start populating any other meetings we need in there. We'll track all these, make sure we hit the topics and the disciplines that we need to make sure everything is covered in the documents that Janet and her team will produce.
All right, any questions? All right.
Do working group meetings have to be posted?
We don't typically do that because it's not a quorum of the building committee. So I would rather not.
I'd rather not too, but
in the working groups are 3 members.
Lost your audio, Joe.
In the working groups?
Go ahead.
You say again, Joe?
Try again, Joe.
Members of the committee meeting with the working group.
We didn't hear any of that.
No.
Are you asking how many permanent building committee members are on the working group?
Yes.
So who's in that?
There's
There's
three. Joe.
me, there's Phil. Who else is in there?
Me, it's three of us, Jason.
Yeah,
So
Mark.
Phil,
But
Phil,
a couple-
Mark,
It's 3.
Jason.
But two or three are non-voting, if that matters.
Yeah.
so there's
That-
only,
It
No, I
actually
don't think it
does.
does.
You don't think it, or do you do think?
I-
Stung by the
Working group
internet.
has to
The
be-
robot.
We gotta get Joe a signal booster for Christmas.
That's right.
Gotta get off dial-up.
AOL was so yesterday, Joe.
Still working at 14.4. It's all right.
I don't know why it's doing this. Are there 3 members on the
Yes.
meeting?
3 on the working group, 1 voting, 2 non-voting.
You have to post them.
It has to be posted.
Yes.
Okay.
so posted as public meetings, Joe?
Yes.
So you just have to call Sherry and set it up.
Right.
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, you can send her this list and she can do it, so.
Yeah.
And then that way, if anybody else wants to jump on, they can and listen, and we can't get in trouble.
Sure, yep. So that's all I had tonight, guys.
Okay.
Shane.
Anybody else? Can you hear me?
Yep. We
Oh, we
can.
can.
Okay. Is there any other questions regarding the public safety building? Nope.
Oh,
All right, Janine? Are you still there?
I think I am. I keep going out.
Yeah.
Same here.
And not been a good night for internet.
I noticed you're up for,
Do you need?
Janine,
Yes.
you're up for reappointment?
All right. Yes.
Well, I just hope you will re-up.
I plan to. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. I just want to make sure because we don't want to miss it. All right, anybody else?
I move that we adjourn.
Just before we do that, Chip.
Yeah.
So there's a phone number there, the 978-471. I think Tim.
That's Tim.
That's Tim. Okay.
Yes.
So just Jerry, I think, is missing tonight.
No, Jerry.
Jerry jumped on halfway through.
Yeah.
All right, I see. Okay.
Apologize, I was late.
No problem. Just
He was napping.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
So
you
looks like-
marked. Don't worry, Jerry. We have you
Full-
down.
I figured you did.
Yeah.
Full attendance, guys. Well done.
All right.
When's the next
All right.
meeting?
Thanks, everybody.
Next
Wait a minute,
meeting,
Joe.
Here.
When are we meeting
Right.
again?
All right, bye.
Next meeting.
it's on the
Oh,
list.
next meeting, well, we may have it the 28th, depending if we have to, but probably at least the first week of February prior to, for the high school RFS. But if it's done beforehand, we'll try to get it out beforehand, but let's see how it goes. All right.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Happy New Year.
So moved.
Good New Year.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
now.
guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.